children.
Rapper Vanilla Ice found instant success with Ice Ice Baby, but he found himself out in the cold after turning to drugs and then trying to commit suicide.
I turned to, drugs as an escape route. Everything from heroin, cocaine to ecstasy, all of it, I tried to commit suicide in '94 with all the money in the world. One day I found myself on the floor, my friends dumping buckets of cold water on me. I wrote a suicide note and I was ready to go.
Vanilla Ice had it all back in the early 90s. His single Ice Ice Baby sold 17 million copies. He never dreamed of such success. On a dare, he'd gotten up in a Miami club and rapped. That led to a small recording contract. Within 3 years, he had a major record deal and millions of screaming fans.
Well, I bought my dream car, Porsches and mansions, L.A. to Miami and in between, and, yachts and everything.
5 months ago, I was so broke, my car was getting repossessed. I had nothing, man.
There were even headlines screaming he wasn't from the streets, that he was from a comfortable suburban home, but he came to us to set the record straight.
I am from the streets. That's where I learned to rap.
He even claims he had a relationship with Madonna. Pictures of the two together ended up in her infamous sex book.
I had a fling, with her. It lasted for about 8 months or so, and I didn't know she was, she took a lot of pictures. Always pictures, I'm used to that. I don't know what half the pictures are going to be used for. And I see this hard copy sex book, aluminum cover, $100 for a sex book, and I'm like, I open it up and I look in it and I'm just blown away. I didn't want to be a part of the slutty package, I mean, my friends all thought it was cool, but me, I just didn't want to be, I knew her and I knew that wasn't real and I didn't want to be a part of it, so it kind of turned me off on that whole deal.
When a follow-up album and a feature film both fizzled, Vanilla Ice's career melted away, and though he kept his riches, he got caught up in a whirlwind of drug abuse.
I had a weekend that lasted 8 months, okay? I didn't know which way I was going, right, left. I mean, I was up all the time, excuse me.
And on that night in 1994, he tried to end it all. It didn't work.
I took enough drugs to kill an army, and, I woke up a couple days later and I was like, I'm still here. I kind of pinched myself and I was like, wow.
He decided to begin again and shed his old lifestyle, but first he tried to use prescription drugs to cure himself.
I was very lonely, very depressed, taking every drug from Adderall to Ritalin to Xanax to whatever, and, to try to fix myself, and then I realized, none of this is actually working.
What turned things around was his marriage to Laura Jarita, with whom he now has 2 daughters, Dusty Rain and Keely Breeze.
Ooh.
He's also on tour to back up his new CD, Bipolar, with much more hard-hitting music than his Ice Ice days. And his older daughter has already expressed an interest in music herself.
I have a little studio in her room, because I have a big studio, and I didn't want to come in there pushing buttons and everything in my studio, so I got her a little studio. She got a miniature drum kit, miniature keyboards, microphones, karaoke machines, and she just goes off, man.
In January of 2001, Vanilla Ice was arrested after a domestic dispute and spent a night in jail. Immediately, he and his wife came to E.T. to say it was all a misunderstanding.
It's a heated argument. We started yelling at each other, and it just escalated, and it's not any big deal.
It was blown a lot out of proportion, and I don't want him to be made out to be like some wife abuser. He would never hit me.
He now says he has his life on track in all areas, and he isn't hiding behind a new name.
I'm Vanilla Ice, and I will always be.
Vanilla Ice, whose real name is Rob Van Winkle, also loves motocross and participates in celebrity races all across the country.